this and be like, well, that's right, I went through that. I want to take some time to talk about this living life through COVID experience. It's like, like we're all a part of like this major thing that's happening, and I didn't realize how major it was because I've never actually been through anything like this. Yeah, I mean, the whole world shut down. Yeah, but even though that was like really big, I don't really hardly go anywhere anyway. So I feel like it really didn't really affect me as much as it affected other people, and maybe that's why I didn't really feel it. Like, I did feel the fear. I was like constantly watching YouTube videos, hearing people's stories on Facebook. I had also, just had a hysterectomy in January and taken 2 months off of work and went back to work at the end of February, thinking I should have taken another month off because I just was not in the position to go back to work. And then I got sent back home with the rest of the world because we shut down. And I was like, oh my God, what a relief that I got to stay home. But then I also got to work from home. I did get furloughed, and I did have to file for unemployment or partial unemployment. So I still got a paycheck, but then I still got unemployment. So I was like, probably making more money than I was before and doing less work. And not being able to go out to eat or do things like that, no big deal. Like, I'm still able to go to the grocery store. There was things that I do that I was able to do anyways. I still went to band practice. I saved a lot of gas and there wasn't any traffic. But it was really sad to hear about a lot of other stories and things that people were going through. Like, I still had to work with clients and drop off paperwork or booklets because I teach parenting classes, so they had to get the book somehow. I would drop off emergency supplies, go shopping for them. Some people couldn't find diapers or baby wipes. Like, in the beginning, like, everyone was just buying everything. And some of the families I work with are already super poor, out of work, living in homeless shelters and shit like that anyway. So it didn't affect them as much as it affected, I think, other people that lost their jobs, lost their housing, or lost their lives, right? So I didn't really experience a whole lot of that. I think I was pretty lucky in that sense. But on the other hand, my son, who was having his first year in college, moved to Cheney, Washington to go to college June 2020, and he got a new roommate July 2020, and then that roommate hung himself, and my son had to get him down and go through all that in August of 2020. And the world was already pretty shut down, and then he found out in September that he was not going to be able to go to school in person, and so he's in this small ass fucking town with no family or friends and experiencing this traumatic shit. And because I did have, less hours for work, I took extra time to just go down there, spend time with him, take him groceries, take him shopping, just make sure that his mental health was okay. But he's a young adult and he's really trying to prove that he can do this. He doesn't need mom, but we're going through a global fucking pandemic, and I'm worried and concerned about him, and he's like 5 hours away. So that for me was like, heart-wrenching and super emotional, worried about what he was going through. Not so much about myself. I feel like I've lived in hotels before. I've gotten, food stamps, actually when they were fucking stamps, pieces of paper. I've been on public assistance. I've taken advantage of emergency assistance before. I want to say I've lived a pretty rough life, and I've managed to figure it out somehow, some way. I've figured it out. But that's not the life that I want my son to have to experience. I'm hoping to make it better, right? But all this other shit is happening that I have no control over. So here I am trying to provide my son with the best life that I could possibly give him, because I'm not rich either, and no one ever really told me how to manage college. Or life or credit or any of that shit. I'm just figuring it out on my own. So I'm trying to teach him the best I can, and yet he's still experiencing trauma and all this other shit. So this whole COVID experience for me has been a little different, and I imagine it's been different for everyone. We're not all experiencing the same stuff, and we don't anyways. Before COVID, we all had our own traumas and our own experiences too. But this, we are all experiencing, like, individually and simultaneously at the same time. This is like one of those things where our worlds are colliding and combining. No matter what, things are affecting the world. It's not just me, even though I have a positive mindset and I imagine that I can get through anything and all that. Mind you, for years before this, I was already like going through my autoimmune shit and bleeding to death and getting iron infusions, and I had a hysterectomy and like just feeling like shit all the time anyways. And so the whole break during the lockdown and COVID gave me time to just heal, and manage my hormones and my emotions, because now I'm kicked into fucking premenopause. Well, actually menopause, right? From premenopause to menopause, because I'm 42 fucking years old with no uterus or cervix or anything. So me not being around people was probably a good thing, because I was like just feeling angry for no reason. Maybe I had a reason. I probably had lots of reasons, but I'm usually pretty calm and chill, and even when I bled monthly, I could handle that. I just would get sad and I'd cry. But now I'm like, I'm not bleeding, so I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I'm not remembering, oh, it's your period. So the whole lockdown experience for me was just a time of self-reflection, healing, and trying to figure out, how am I going to save my son's life? Not even like putting myself in the back seat and trying to figure out how I'm like, and my mind's going crazy, right? I imagine everyone else's was too, because everyone was like buying all the fucking toilet paper and hand sanitizer and everything. Now, I didn't buy all the toilet paper, but I have to admit, I went to the dollar store and I bought like 10 bottles of bleach because I'm like, well, I don't want that to disappear, because I am a clean freak and I use bleach for everything, and at least I can mix bleach and water and like sanitize something, right? And I still have like 2 bottles of bleach still. Like, so bleach lasts a long time, and from the dollar store, that was cheap. Dude, go to the dollar store. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. The other aspect I wanted to address is, now that we're coming out of the first, I don't even know what fucking phase we're in, honestly. Now that we're kind of reopening the world again, it's been like a year and a half since we shut down. Now we're in August of 2021. So like a whole year since my son's roommate hung himself. And my son is with me for the summer this summer. And I'm glad his mental health is getting better. He's seen a therapist. He got on some depression medication, and just being around us and not being alone, I think, is just really helpful. And we still don't know if campus is going to be open, right? There's still, now we have this COVID variant, the Delta, and now the vaccinated people are getting sick. And now it doesn't matter if you have proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID test, like, you can still fucking be sick, you know? Like, or you can get a false negative or a false positive or whatever. It's just ridiculous. So it's going to start school again soon, and there's still no news if it's going to be online or if it's going to be in person. But definitely, if it's online, yeah, pick up your shit, dude, and come back and just stay here, because I'm not going to go through a whole nother year of him being in a little town by himself and the world being shut down again, you know, and experiencing some more fucked up roommate situations. So I did continue to play with the band all year. There was a time when we were wearing masks during practice, or just leaving the garage door open, or when it got really bad, we did shut down practice for about a month, you know, when everything first shut down. And the band lives all in Tacoma, and I'm in Everett, so I'm the only one that travels. So I drive like an hour and a half, 3 hours sometimes each way, depending on traffic, and it sucks. During the COVID shutdown, I was driving like 45 minutes. It was awesome. Now that things are opening back up, my drive's back to, I don't fucking know when I'm gonna get there, right? So I'm gonna be late, like every week probably. We did perform 2 shows, because we're like, great, it's opening back up, people are performing, let's start booking some shows. And we booked one, and then it's just like they were just coming, right? But as quickly as they were coming, that's pretty much how quickly, like the Delta variant was spreading too, right? It still is, you know. We did our second show, and then decided to pass on the 3rd. We were gonna do the 4th one that we were arranging, and then we weren't gonna book anything after that because we want to focus on recording our album, our second album. And I think that's the best idea, because some of the bands that we've played with, even though vaccinated, have tested positive for COVID. And I think it's just spreading. It's spreading from like venue to venue right now. It kind of sucks, you know? Like, some venues don't even know that those bands were exposed to positive people, because some of those bands don't even know, because they're not telling each other, right? And so I'm just kind of watching and paying attention, and venues are starting to close down again. They're starting to shut down. And so me and the band aren't going to be booking anything for a little while. I think even till January 2022 would be pretty safe. There's no rush to get COVID, no rush to get sick. We got plenty to do. We can work on our album, the CDs, t-shirts, stickers, merchandise, and maybe even recording an album. I mean, sorry, duh, we're doing an album. Recording a video, a music video. It almost seems like everyone around us is getting COVID right now. Everyone. I'm not going to go into like details as to who, but a lot of fucking people, even like my best friend in Sacramento, you know, like, it's just way too many people too close are getting it, and I don't think it's worth risking at this time. At the same time, I'm at work, and I'm going into people's homes, you know, so I feel like even though I'm trying to be safe, I'm still exposed. There's families that I'm working with that are canceling on me because they're sick. And I'm being told that, well, if it's not COVID, still have to see them face to face, right? And I think that's wrong, because before COVID, if they had the flu or something, I wouldn't fucking go to their house. I don't want the flu either. You know, like, I don't want anything. I don't want to get sick. I don't care if it's fucking COVID or not. I don't feel like I should have to put myself in a situation where I might get sick, because if I get sick, usually it's like call in and stay home if you're sick. But now it's different. It's changed. There's people at work sick all the fucking time. As long as you don't have COVID, you gotta come to work. Shit's getting weird. It's getting weird. So I may not have lost my job or my house. I actually bought a new car last year because it's like, fuck it. I wanted to buy a new house, but that wasn't going to happen because during COVID, nobody's fucking moving. And now everything's so expensive. So I figured if I get a nice enough car, I can live in it. Maybe I'll buy a trailer next. I don't know. I don't know where the world's taking me or where COVID's taking us. So I just wanted to like talk a little bit about my COVID experience. And it's not over. It's totally not over. I'm sure there'll be more.